the same idea with blogging, where the idea with you know, been blogging for 4 years, and it's supposed to be this mix of authenticity and citizen journalism, but also promotion and personal branding. And this idea that there's no friction between these two at all, and these two can work together. And then it turns out to be all about personal branding.
There is friction, but
so this is my question for you. So there's just New York City did a call for proposals for a municipal wireless network, and they mentioned that one of the tasks that would have to be included in the proposal was not only to set up a wireless network, but to make sure that people used it. And one of the ways they talked about that was to overcome cultural barriers of people that would not otherwise use it. You know, and should pay attention here to the Jewish community, the Orthodox Jewish community in Montreal, that doesn't want to get involved with technology and sees that as not something that's going to help them to have internet access. And the government sees that as a problem, where there's people that aren't connected that they need to be connected. So I'm just wondering how have you experienced, like, you know, how do you experience the tensions for technology and the promise of technology coming up against the constraints of economic development? Not that there's an answer for it, but how do you, I'm trying to learn how to navigate those and how to identify those and how to find projects that can work with those things. I know that you do that a lot in your job in government now as an activist and working with business to try to move these three forces in a good direction.
The interaction between new technologies and established old forms of doing things, it's always frictional and always very contributive. I mean, they will finally understand. I mean, the reaction posed by the old established institutions and standards and so about the new technologies and the new possibilities is something that it's there, but it's in train of being, you know, overcome because of that. I mean, also to arrive to the point, like you mentioned, that the government decided that they're going to be e-government, and then they will face the opposition of some part of the society that don't want to be e. so that's it. So this kind of dialogue will be permanent. You know, the society forces the government, forces the state, forces the institutional body to adopt something new. Then they adopt something new. Then the state appropriates the new thing and says, now we impose the new to everybody. So part of the society comes and say, no, this is new for you. I have my new myself. I decide what is new for me. So don't tell me what is new. I'm not going to join you in your new way or something like that. So this is a kind of dialogue, that frictional dialogue that's going to be always on. It's very natural for me, because what we should sort of be attentive about is that the new is the new. The new is going to come by, you know, regardless of what I consider new, what you consider new, and everything. So this openness, it's something that we really have to consider, you know. I mean, surprise, mystery, it's always going to be around, you know. I mean, like the things that we even don't imagine, you know. So, but at the same time, I mean, when you languages, the common language, possibilities of creating common languages, this is something that we have to insist on. I mean, like, through dialogue. Through dialogue, we adjust language, you know, forms of cognitions, forms of comprehension, forms of understanding, forms of establishing common ground. You know, concordance, concorde. Des choses comme ça. Openness is this thing. We still do what we believe it's more efficient, it's more interesting and everything, but keep an eye on the other thing, on whatever opposes you, whatever contests you and everything. So this is my form of activism. No activist could tell you. I mean, this is what I know activist could tell a new activist. Keep active, but keep also quiet. Don't act too much to a point of blocking the other people's action. Don't tell the one that opposes you. Don't tell him that. Don't kill him. That's the question. Don't shoot there. Don't kill him. Let him live. Let him live. I'll take a break. I have to make a call to resume. 5 minutes and I'll be back. Okay.
We'll continue with Claudio in the meantime. Claudio.
Okay, I have a maybe a little more anarchical view than Piers just expressed now. But I think that the conversion of digital technologies has an anarchical DNA within it. And when I mean anarchical, I mean the elimination of central powers, of unilateral decisions. And when you eliminate, and by that you eliminate intermediaries that don't add value, whoever buys it for 5 and sells it for 100 will not exist anymore. And this is disrupting, this is creating a confusion within the industrial mentality as a whole. And when you talk about industrial mentality of consumer society, you're talking about a big lump of society. These guys are confused, they don't know what they're doing anymore. When I was your age, every company, I don't know what age you are, but more or less, every company used to have 50-year planning. I mean, who could imagine 50-year planning is something very crazy today, even for big companies. They might have it in a very weird, some very weird people planning for 50 years, this very imperialistic attitude. But what is happening is that these big powers are getting weaker and weaker. They don't have the power they used to have anymore. And the new solutions have a new space because these big powers are getting nowhere because of the digital realities. And this is creating a lot of space for change, because the companies they either change or they will disappear. That's happening with the record companies, and many others.
Okay, there's a question over here.
I wonder if you can speak to the original inspiration for the hotspots, especially in indigenous areas in Brazil and in more rural areas. And I know in Canada there's some really hugely innovative internet technology projects that are indigenous and that are created by indigenous communities precisely because they've been overlooked by federal government programs. And there are equally projects like